the other leg's down, the leg can very easily come to your elbow. Well, that's we all hope to do something like this. But sometimes, not that the guy goes too quick, but sometimes something could happen over there that you'll not be able to do something like this. So it's a good idea for you to have a little extra little tool, just in case. When you talk about Jiu-Jitsu survival, escaping, you have to be so slippery that you have to understand every move that somebody can bring towards you. You have to understand every attack they can put towards you. Every time they can attack something, you gotta have something here to pour it here to escape. So now we just work one thing here. Go ahead and put your ankle over there, put your heel turn this way. That's one. Well, the guy in the top, sometimes he goes, smart guy, he goes and try to trick you there. But keep in mind this, every time that you see yourself getting kind of dominated, controlling, you have to try to find a way to create a little space, create a little yield. Just create a little, push and pull. That's okay, somebody needs to wake up right now. I gotta go to the seminar, 11:30. But my clock's still on the coast. So, anyway, let's bring this. So, same thing, same idea. I'm like this, right? So I'm getting in trouble here, and I see the Tony is going to north-south over there. I see everything ready to go, and I try to do it here, but somehow Tony doesn't let me do. Somehow I try to go, just rest it, Tony. Sometimes I try to do it here, he doesn't let me go. Well, many times it's my legs over here, but I have a free arm. My arms are free. Sorry, I don't want to be smacked. Don't want to touch the guy here. But what you're looking for is have this other arm right here, right down here. So my right arm is going to stay right down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to let Tom start to lift my elbow. Now I'm going to try to go catch it. So instead of my legs, I catch it. When I catch here, so one more time. If somehow you find yourself here, the guy somehow is going, I'm trying to go there somehow, but I lost my timing. Or Tom sometimes can have his legs here up, and he can intercept with my leg. That should be a way for the guy here to kind of trick me. Is for him to block me with this leg there. So I let him goes a little bit, and I use my other arm, and I go right here. I use this leg, I use my right arm, and I go and I cup it. Don't grab it. Don't grab nothing. Cup it. When I cup it over here, my goal is so same thing. I want to use the anchor. I want to put it down here. Because eventually, what I can do here, look, I can counterattack my training point. Eventually, I can counterattack that. Remember I told you guys about counterattack that happen right after? Eventually, after the guys play with this a few times, that can be another possibility. So you can let somebody go halfway and you catch a guy in an armbar. Right now, let's forget about counterattack. Let's think about just escape. Just undo. Well, the only thing you want to do is kind of slide out, undo. So if I'm over here, and somehow my leg doesn't go, lay down a second, please. Sometimes the guy can do like this, and I'm already a smart guy, I've been here many times, and I know Tom's a smart dude, and every time I go there, he brings his elbow, now bring a knee here, bring a knee. Now, oh man, he escaped one time. I do it again, I go, do it again, one more time. Oh man, he escaped again. So I gotta do something here. Now he tried to do it. I block his leg with my, now he can move the arm. That makes sense? Now when you put his elbow on the ground, then you escape. So if the guy at the top, smart guy, he intercepts your move, keep his other arm very, very close, so you hide right there, so you just hide the arm with it. Just wait, when you catch there, instead you must, there you go, use your leg. Now you escape every time. And keep in mind, when you're like this, and you catch my arm over there, you start pulling out, well, guess what? If you pass a leg over here, you might have a counterattack to do against me. It can happen, something like this. Boom, and I get caught right there. Right? So this is a possibility. I don't want you guys, don't worry about to do the counterattacks, but I just want to give you guys a little hope. Hey. Guess what? Every time I slide something, I might be able to catch my training partner. Every time I escape for something, I might be able to counterattack him. This is a good thought for you guys to think about how it's important for you guys to be slippery. Be slippery first to be able to attack later. Don't attack first without understanding the slippery. Don't go to submission. Don't try to go people, because if you do this, who shows the card in Las Vegas first? That makes sense? So Jiu-Jitsu is a lot more intelligent, a lot more smart when you guys start to understand why you're doing things, understand the slipperyness, how to be slippery first. Because when you're slippery, you create space between us. When you're not a slippery guy, the space is confined. And you feel like, I cannot. Every move you get tapped. Every move you get smashed. Because you have not created space. But when you start to create a little space, what happens is you force your training partner to try to close the space. When he's moving, you can do your moves. So, see, that's something that confuses me all the time here. But because in Portuguese, the word inertia means different than the word inertia in English. Mm-hmm. Inertia in Portuguese means the object does not move. He's still. Inertia in America is a moving object, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes me forever to understand this because it's complete opposite here. So basically, what you're looking for is when a body is not moving, it's very difficult to perform Jiu-Jitsu. But when a body is moving, it's very easy to continue his movement, to just give a little pushing, to give a little, okay, you want to go here? Let me help you go there. So you give him. Imagine somebody wants to take your finger and you give your hand. Imagine somebody just wants to do one step and you make him do 3 steps. That way you create the space. Now you can move. And you only want to do this if you guys play Jiu-Jitsu. If you guys understand this, your career, your life in Jiu-Jitsu it's like a light bulb. Come right here and you're like, oh my goodness, it's so simple. I never thought about that. I never thought Jiu-Jitsu could be that simple and that easy. Because Jiu-Jitsu is very hard. And we make it even harder. Because we have 2 guys now who work against each other, doing counterproductive moves all the time. You guys come to class, you learn a technique, and come time to do the move, the other dude doesn't like to do it. Actually, he's the one who do it against you. And you're like, come on man, I just learned this move, I was supposed to be doing this, but you do it against me. So I'm always on the receive ending. When you learn Jiu-Jitsu on the receive ending, you start to understand all the attacks that can happen towards you. You start receiving all the energy that people can go towards you. And after that, you only fight when you need it. You don't have to. When we come to the mat, we press the play and we fight for everything. Think about that when you guys grapple. We fight for everything. We fight for grips, we fight for base, we fight for pass the guard, we fight for everything. Everything's a fight. The key for you guys is to pick and choose which fight you want to be. And the best way for you guys to think about is space. If I create space, if I create a little inches, first I might be 1 inch. Eventually I might go for 2 inches. Eventually I might go to 3 inches. Eventually I find myself freedom. I can move. Now I have freedom. Now let me counterattack you. Let me start counterattack you. And at that point, what's going to do it is you're going to show your hands this, you're going to show your training part here, and you're going to catch him right there. Pretty soon you show your hand over here, you catch the guy right here. So you start baiting the guy. And that's when Jiu-Jitsu get fun. And that's how you guys are going to build longevity. It's not going to be with the head, you know, like we used to do in the early days when I didn't speak English. This guy knows the one I didn't speak English before. So I could never explain this. Imagine for myself, how can I explain this to somebody? That is impossible. I didn't speak English. So what I did, I fought all the time. I tried to bring finesse. I tried, but the one we did the moves, we'll go for it. Well, today I can tell you without a doubt, if you understand what I'm talking about here, be more playful, what's going to happen is you guys are going to be tapping more often, and it's very good to tap. Tap is the best way to learn. You're never going to learn Jiu-Jitsu if you don't tap. Can you guys explain to me how you could learn Jiu-Jitsu without tapping? Think about this. Tell me how we can learn Jiu-Jitsu with no tapping. It would be impossible. Imagine if it was the tapping was not in an equation here on the mat. So you come to the mat and this right here does not exist. You could never understand Jiu-Jitsu because you have nobody on the mat to train with you. Because everybody's going to have broken arms, broken legs, right? Nobody could train because we kill each other here all the time. So the key for us is to let people do moves against us friendly because I want to understand your cards. I want to be in Vegas. I want to show me your cards, please. Now that I see your cards, let me try to be a little bit funny. Sometimes it can be performed well, sometimes the performance can be a little bit tricky, sometimes the guy in the top can anticipate my moves. Hey, no big deal. And they explained this just move we just did right now. The first move, we use our legs, right? Now the second time, the guy, oh, you're using your legs, so let me block your leg now here with my knee. So now you go use your hand. And every move gotta have something like this. That way, you guys develop the freedom to get out of moves. And when you guys train against somebody who doesn't know this, you can go ahead and tap him, left and right. So that means you can show your cards because you know the guy cannot read your cards. It is that simple. Jiu-Jitsu is very simple art. We make this very complicated. And I'm telling you, without a doubt here, if you guys want to really, really play Jiu-Jitsu and master Jiu-Jitsu and be on the mat to have a good time, and not just this, share Jiu-Jitsu with the little kids. You know, when you have little kids, how are you going to teach a little kid Jiu-Jitsu? You're going to drop an elbow on the little kid? You're going to drive your knee on the stomach? You cannot do that, right? So we need to be a little bit playful. Well, if you guys do this between adults, you develop the finesse in your hands. And every time you notice that somebody does not have this kind of finesse, you can catch it. Because they're going to show the cards to you. And that's the secret for longevity. That's how I learned Jiu-Jitsu. Nobody told me to do this, but I have no other option. Can you guys imagine walking in a school? 50 years ago, I walk in the school, it was Helio Gracie there every night, Rickson Gracie every night, Helson, Rodion, the old timers every night, all black belts, and me brand new white belt, 120 pounds. Like I came to the mat every day. I was so come on, a year later, I knew Rickson's favorite move, I knew Rodion's favorite moves, I knew Helson's favorite moves. Because after a year being tapped every day, you start learning. I knew Rambo Helio's favorite moves. So when you start learning those favorite moves, you start creating a little resistance. Let me try to resist. And eventually you create this slippery. Eventually it starts to slide out. So resistance, cut it, avoid it. Avoid resistance. Avoid, because you pull this way, the other guy pull that way, something's gonna hurt. Something's gonna pop. When you start being slippery, you just create those inches, the guy has to rearrange, has to regain the position, or maybe go for some other position, and you can start escaping. Remember, the key for us is to be escape masters, not a submission masters. You gotta be escape master. Because if I know every escape, when I decide to be a funny guy and go out after Tom, if I know he doesn't know how to escape, I can apply the move. But if I smell a chance for escape, I'm gonna back out a little bit. I'm gonna bait him, because I know he's a savvy guy to escape. So I gotta bait him. Now we talk about intellectual jiu-jitsu going on. And you guys can really grow. So slow motion out, get your partner, do the first move we just did. The guy goes and put the knee over there. So that means you cannot use a leg, because the knee is over there. Now you go over here, boom, just put your hand there. See if that works with the hand alone. Let's go on 3, 1, 2, 3.